So when I'm sweating, I'm bleeding at the point where your lungs are just burning, everything's broken. At that point is where you go in and you understand something about yourself, that really all the things, all the tools you need in this life to get past any barrier was in you the entire time. And until you're pushed to those discomforts, you will never unlock what's truly inside of you. Anytime I'm trying to get my thoughts together, I have to have the soundtrack. I don't like lyrical music. I like music that has just orchestra, classic behind it. And therefore, whenever I'm going about my day, it's soundtrack. And it makes you want to live life more openly because it gives you opportunity to imagine.
Would be great.
So especially back then, 5 years ago, you really had to have your gym in the outskirts where people cannot find it. So it's usually in warehouses and stuff like that. So it took me almost 3.5 hours to find it, where it got to the point where I was like, you know what, screw this. Like my passion had already died. I'm like, you know what, I can't find it or whatever, screw it. But I just happened to find it like the last 5 minutes. Had I not, I probably wouldn't even be doing this. Like I probably would have just walked away right there. Would have been like, it's cool. And so I go in there and I got my ass kicked. Like I had like, the coach walks in, I'm like, yeah, I want to learn mixed martial arts, because now being in the sport, I see how many people come in there saying the same thing. Yeah. This sport weeds people out like that. It weeds you out. So what happened was, they put me in the ring. They're like, okay, this guy has a fight next week. I'm like, I don't even know how to fight yet. I don't even know how to throw a punch. This guy threw a knee, broke my rib. Punching in the mouth, my tooth went through my lip.
Oh my God.
I threw like 3 punches, but the thing is, I was so tense that I got tired. I was like, I had an asthma attack. It was the longest 5 minutes of my life. I went in the bathroom of like the gym. I was just looking at myself in the mirror and I'm just bleeding. I'm like, I'm never gonna do this again. Screw this. Like, what the hell's wrong with you? I'm like, I'm never doing this again. So right there, I went back, like I went home and I'm like, you know something? I sat down. I'm like, it was literally like this, just me by myself. I'm like, whenever anything got hard, you walked away from it. You always looked for something to like perfectly work out for you. And whenever it didn't, you would never fight through it. You would like say it was a business plan. Like I'm an accounting student, so I'd try to do a lot of marketing business stuff. If it failed, you would call it quits right there. So the next day, I went to the temple and I sat there for like 3 hours. And I'm just like, I have no idea what I'm about to do. Just give me strength 24 hours a day. And the same prayer I made that day, I do till this morning. Like I do every day. There's not been a single easy day that I've gone by in this sport yet. Like there's never been one day where I've come home and been like, oh, training was cool today. Now I feel like I can go for it. No, I come home exhausted. Like this guy saw today, just how crazy it is in there. And so from there, I told my parents. My parents were not happy about it. They're ready to kick me out of the house. Because my parents lived back home. They still thought I was going full scholarships, getting my degree. That typical plan: get married, have kids, call it life, whatever. I'm like, yeah, I'm doing this MMA thing. They're like, okay, good. You can relieve stress. They didn't know I'd given up everything else. Something inside of me like went off, and I had 24 hours in a sport where my tooth went through my lip and I had an asthma attack. What made me choose that over that, right? And it was just, after that, it was just trying to gain respect from my parents more than anything. Even because I had a media tour in Toronto with all the Boulevard, Bollywood Boulevard and everything. That's when people really started knowing that there was a guy in this. It was just like this made. And so from that, I told my parents, and my dad's like, he was in the Indian Army. So he's a very stone cold guy. So this time I get on the phone, I'm like, Dad, I told you, didn't I? And he actually got choked up. I'm like, I broke you. I'm like, from New Delhi. I'm like, I broke you, man. He's like, I don't know what it is. You keep figuring out how to win, how to keep doing this. I still see you as that little chubby kid that should be doing accounting. Because me and my dad, we never got along too much because he was an athlete all his life. And I think he wanted me to be that. And I was always sitting in the library studying all the time. I was always science this, gotta go on this trip and all that. And then when I found this sport and I started getting into it, now we're like best friends now. Now I'm trying to become the first Indian or South Asian to be in the UFC. And so these guys all recognize me and stuff like George and all them. So I came up here. And honestly, past 5 years has been, the biggest way to sum it up is it's just been sacrifices and just, literally I've been tested whether I want this or not. My problem is that I don't know what overtraining is when you're by yourself all the time, because I'm constantly in the state that whoever my next opponent is still training harder. So when you see me, my lungs are burning, I'm tired at the end of the lap, I'm exhausted. I feel like I need to do one more to win that round when it comes down to it. But the thing is, when I'm done that lap, I feel like I need to do another one, and then time just passes, time flies by. And you're just in the water with your thoughts. And it's actually a very lonely time with you and your thoughts in the water, and that's what keeps you going. By the time you get your thoughts together, the lap's already ended. Then you come back and brand new set of thoughts come in. Images, visuals, even nightmares, even haunting images of you being beat. And that's what makes you go faster or slower in the pool. So you really realize how alone you are in this world when you take the responsibility to create your own world by stepping out of your comfort zones. It's a scary feeling, but only way to combat it is to grow your mind mentally stronger, because it's your best friend and can be your worst enemy on your toughest days.
The lifestyle that I live is a mixed martial arts warrior lifestyle, but it's got nothing to do with fighting. I would have to say I've learned more lessons about life through this journey, and when I'm wrapping my hands, I gotta understand that all strengths, all boundaries, all barriers are in my own head, and if I can let go of these barriers every single day, working towards them, I am the creator of my own world. You got to go past that 1% that the 99% will never go. And that's what makes you different from the rest, is that 99% of people are too scared to go past that barrier, to feel that pain, to feel that anguish day in and day out. It's that 1% that stands out, and it's always the people that are remembered, and that's always the messages that carry the furthest. I want the world to realize that anyone that was told that they could not amount to anything is a creator of their own dream. If you believe in it, if that spark of thought is something that obsesses you, then it will manifest into something very powerful if you truly believe in it. But at the same time, the surroundings of your people, the surrounding of things is what you've chosen to surround yourself with. So if you like the negative things in life, then you're always negative. The only bad things are really going to come to you. You got to understand, you got to take responsibility of what you've created around yourself. So even if I fail at what I'm doing, I can say that As long as this passes on to somebody else for them to achieve their dream, then I've accomplished what I've wanted to out of this. With your imagination, you can create whatever world you want to live in. Anything that's created in your mind, it starts from a spark of thought. So as a spark of thought can become something completely powerful. This world that I live in right now was an imaginary thought that started in my head that didn't make sense to me at the beginning. But by keep playing scenes in my head, they came to reality when I truly believed them. And that's what led me to Montreal here. Is to train with the best. I imagined that I could train at a gym like TriStar. I imagined that I could be surrounded by guys like George St. Pierre and guys that I looked up to, watched on TV, that I could one day be surrounded by them. It may not even be written for me to even make it to where I really think I want to make it. It may be written for someone else to make it by taking the message that I've sent out to them. And that's even that right there, if that's what it is, because it's a transcendence of positivity, because we already have a transcendence of negativity all over the world. But for positive people to pass on a message, it's a wave, it's a ripple. You got to create a ripple that just keeps spreading itself, and that's really what it's all about. That's why when I'm training, I know I have to somehow send a message out within that day, whether it be through Twitter or Facebook or something, that it has to somehow hit a general public in order to use it in their life. They don't have to be fighters, they can be doctors, nurses, aspiring, whatever they are, as long as they can understand and translate the message for themselves. It's one of those very honest moments, and I would have to say in the time that I've been in Montreal has been probably the times where I've hit a wall daily and where I've been tested to understand. It's at that point where you have to sit down with yourself and be like, why am I doing this? What is making me wake up to go into a gym, to get punched and kicked, to get seriously hurt? Because when you're at a level training with the best, you take a very high risk of your career can be ended in the gym. Forget about a fight, your career can be ended in a gym by just going to practice. I don't know if I'm going to make it out today. And every day you take that risk on, and therefore you just got to remember why you're doing this. If you're doing it for the right reasons, you'll want to do it again. If you're doing it for the fame, for the illusion of fame, the illusion of rock star status, for whatever people think this really encompasses, then you're going to give this up very fast. But the things that I do it for is a representation of something that has not been represented. The idea that someone was told that they could not amount to anything, and now they're sitting here surrounded by the people just because of the power of their own mind, that they can create whatever they want with their own mind. And that's what it comes down to, is if I give up, if I hit that metaphorical wall and I pack up my bags and leave, that's a selfish act on my part, and that will transcend on the world of people that were following me, that it is okay to give up. And that I'd rather fail by giving everything than to fail by just not doing enough.